Okay, here's some ergonomics updates on the baling. It's taken 3 hours to generate, uh, I don't know the estimate, but getting all started, shaking things out. Probably pressed about 100 or 200 bales in like 3 hours, but that's with setup. So once we get going, we probably get, we decided actually to go with a big rake. The windrows from the hay conditioner, they were too wide, and there were troubles feeding the baler. I had to basically poke with a stick constantly, and the baler would have to stop moving so that we can get the feed through. There was a lot of twiggy kind of weedy things, but when there was primarily grass, that thing would just keep rolling and pick up, spit out bales. Little issues on one side of the bale being a little more long than the other, where there's two baling strings. The concept there is, we think that because of the twiggy substance, twiggy biomass, one side of the chamber was getting loaded more than the other, so the bales are a little uneven, and maybe it's the tension on where the bale comes out. So we tried adjusting the tension to really tighten down the side that was too long, and still that side didn't squeeze up too much. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's ergonomics on baling. Ergonomics on house construction. It took us from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., so that's 3 hours, to pour 40 pads. That was 7 cubic yards of concrete, and that was 5 people working. 4 people from factory farm, then David and his mom, so it's really 6 people. So you can call it 6 times 3, 18 human hours to do the screening, the leveling off, and then smoothing off the concrete pads. To do the 40 pads, we got finished pouring in about an hour. By the time we were done, we couldn't really finish off with the floats and the edgers on the concrete pads. It's set up too fast. So we need probably more than, if you have 6 people, make sure those 6 people are super hardworking. And Thad isn't going on his cell phone in the middle of that for 30 seconds, things like that, because every second counts. Or probably comfortably we could do it with a team of 10 people. We had about 5 or 6. If we had, maybe 50% more people, we would have finished it all off in time. The last pads were actually hard to scree off because they were starting to set up. That's the ergonomics. Now, what else? Ergonomics of preparing the forms. It turned out, for the man hours in preparing the forms, it took probably like half an hour per pad, and there's 40 pads, so like 20 hours to do the whole process of setting them up. Then there was the labor of leveling them off. So I would say probably each pad received like about an hour, a human hour of work. So it's really like 40 human hours altogether that went into the pad preparation. That means you lay the form out, do the rebar, put the rebar in, kind of dig out a little bit, put some gravel on the edges so the concrete doesn't spill out, and then leveling. So about an hour per pad, which is pretty good. And then of course there was the excavation, which I'll report on next.